Hey everyone, let's talk about Ethiopia, a country with a rich history and amazing culture. From its ancient civilizations to its vibrant traditions, Ethiopia has always been a land of wonder and diversity. But Ethiopia also faces a big challenge: it's landlocked. This geographical reality has significant implications for its economy and development. This means it's surrounded by land and doesn't have its own coastline. Without direct access to the sea, Ethiopia must rely on neighboring countries for port access. Imagine a country with over 120 million people, but no direct access to the sea. This affects everything from trade to travel, making it harder to connect with the global market. The Red Sea, a major route for ships carrying goods all over the world, is right next door, but Ethiopia can't easily use it. This proximity is tantalizing yet frustrating for the nation. For Ethiopia, getting to the sea isn't just about money, it's about opportunity. It's about opening doors to new markets and creating jobs for its people. It's about the potential for growth and prosperity. Access to a seaport could transform Ethiopia's economy, making it more competitive and resilient. Picture this, a bustling port city full of life and activity, ships coming and going, goods being loaded and unloaded, and people working hard to build a better future. Ethiopian coffee, famous around the world, is loaded onto ships headed for new markets. This could boost the country's agricultural sector and bring in much-needed revenue. At the same time, other ships bring in things Ethiopia needs, helping its economy grow and improving the lives of its people. This exchange of goods is vital for development. This is the dream that drives Ethiopia, the vision of a thriving nation connected to the world through its own seaport. You can feel this desire for a seaport everywhere in Addis Ababa, from casual conversations to serious political discussions. It's a topic that resonates with everyone. Ethiopians understand that a seaport won't solve everything, but it's a crucial step towards unlocking their country's true potential. It's about building a brighter future for the next generation. Being landlocked is a relatively new problem for Ethiopia, a country with a rich and complex history. For a long time, the Ethiopian Empire included a stretch of land along the Red Sea, which is now Eritrea. This coastal region was vital for trade and cultural exchange. This access to the sea was a birthright for generations, but it was suddenly taken away in 1993 when Eritrea fought for and gained its independence. The separation was a significant turning point in the region's history. Losing Eritrea was a huge blow to Ethiopia, both emotionally and economically. The loss was felt deeply across the nation. It meant losing its coastline, its ports, and its direct connection to global trade routes. The bustling ports that once facilitated Ethiopia's trade were no longer accessible. The separation was bitter, with border disputes and fighting between the two countries. The conflict over the border areas led to prolonged tensions and military clashes. Ethiopia, now landlocked, had to rely on its neighbor Djibouti for almost all its sea trade. This new dependency reshaped Ethiopia's economic landscape. While this was necessary, relying on Djibouti has had its downsides. The crowded ports and the economic activities in Djibouti often led to delays and increased costs for Ethiopian trade. Djibouti has benefited economically, but Ethiopia has become dependent on its smaller neighbors' infrastructure and political decisions. This dependency has created a complex relationship between the two nations. This dependence has made Ethiopia even more determined to find a more independent and reliable way to access the sea. The government is actively exploring new strategies and infrastructure projects to reduce this reliance and secure a more stable future for the nation. In 2024, a ray of hope emerged from an unexpected place, bringing with it a mix of optimism and tension. Ethiopia signed a major agreement with Somaliland, a self-declared republic in the north of Somalia, marking a significant geopolitical shift in the region. This deal gave Ethiopia a 19% share in the port of Berbera, a strategically important harbor on the Gulf of Aden, which is crucial for trade and military strategy. Many in Ethiopia celebrated this agreement as a game-changer, a crucial step towards breaking free from Djibouti's control, which has long been Ethiopia's primary access to the sea. However, not everyone was happy. The deal sparked a wave of controversy and concern among neighboring countries. Somalia, which claims Somaliland as part of its territory, was furious. The agreement was seen as a direct challenge to its sovereignty. Mogadishu, Somalia's capital, condemned the agreement, calling it illegal and accusing Ethiopia of interfering in its internal affairs, further straining diplomatic relations. The African Union, worried about encouraging separatist movements across the continent, also expressed concerns, fearing the precedent it might set. The controversy surrounding the Berbera port deal highlights the complexity of the situation, involving historical grievances and modern geopolitical strategies. Ethiopia's search for a sea outlet takes it through a political minefield, navigating through a web of regional tensions and alliances. The Horn of Africa, already struggling with poverty, conflict and instability, is a breeding ground for regional rivalries and proxy wars, making any political move highly sensitive and impactful.